G'day, ZiggyD here with a bit of a Path of Exile pseudo-guide, pseudo-discussion video. Basically, in this Rayclass Weekly that I just said in a recent video that we've had to delay for various reasons, we were going to talk about the races, the new seasons things, in addition to a lot of race strategy. We might still have a podcast down the track talking about race strategy with, some high-level races, but I wanted to really share my thoughts on the new season setup, the new races, the points, and I even want to talk a bit about the rewards and how good they are and how much the average player can expect to be able to work towards these rewards. So first up, I think this idea of race seasons is fantastic. Basically, the long-term success of Path of Exile, I think, will be centered around these refreshing leagues and races and events, and keeping this sort of vibrant community around this competitive thing. You're always going to have the people playing default and hardcore leagues and enjoying that, and that will always be like, I guess, the keystone of the game, like the real solid base of the game. But these race seasons that keep refreshing, I think, is what the community will really grow around and get really excited about. It's what people will talk about, what's happened in the recent races, who's dominating the race scene overall, who's dominating individual races, and things like that. People like to also try and get there for their rewards. So this new idea of having an overall point score for participation in the different races and for doing well in the different races also gives you a leaderboard, and that allows people to not only compete in individual races but also in the season overall, and to have their name up on, I won season 1. So not only was I good at individual races, I was good at competing in a lot of races and doing well in a lot of races, and I scored like over 500 points or something like that. I don't even know what the top races will end up scoring, but it'll be pretty interesting to see. So that just adds a lot of excitement to the game. So overall, I think that's pretty cool. So previously, individual races had currency rewards as their main, I guess, rewarding thing. You have the Demigod's Presence, which was the unique amulet, much like the Demigod's Wreath. I haven't actually seen what the Demigod's Wreath is yet. I don't think they've been given out from the very first race, which has been completed. But they're sort of like, an okay unique item, but mostly they're there for the reward. I've show off that you've earned these through winning races or doing really well in races. So they're pretty cool. But you also got these big pack of currency rewards. So you got like 100 random currency items that you would get this new character that had these currency items, and you'd unwrap them and see, oh wow, I got like a couple Exalteds or something like that. So that was very exciting. But I talked a bit to Ariok, and he said that this was a bit of a problem, and it had a lot of issue with currency inflation in the game, because obviously there's a lot of people racing and there's a lot of people winning currency rewards, and he said he actually got the vast majority of his currency from racing. So it was a bit of an issue despite being a very fun system. I know the community is very divided on this compared to the season rewards now and the rewards for the individual races, and whether it's a good thing or not, but I think without a doubt the currency reward thing was a bit of an issue. I would like to see something like that in the game in the future, but maybe they can fine-tune it and see if it works a bit better. But for now, let's talk about the rewards that we have now. So let's go ahead into an individual race here and see what rewards we get. So number 1 player of each class gets a Demigod's Triumph. You've also got the overall top player. Is he getting? No. Okay, so it's only the number 1 player of each class that gets the Demigod's Triumph. So that's 6 people getting the Demigod's Triumph per race, basically. So there's going to be a bit of competition around that, but you've also got these reward points, which are this overall season score, and that's what determines your position on the season ladder and also your progress towards these rewards here. So you can see the number next to each one, and basically you save up these points over racing. So let's talk a little bit about the race. Well, okay, first up, you can get these rewards through reaching a high level, and this is one of the major ways of getting it. Placing highly as a class, but also doing some extra like quests and full clears and things like that. So people who want to go for these things rather than progressing with their levels have the option to do so to try and score a few extra points. So it adds a little bit of diversity to the game, but I think a major problem a lot of people are complaining about this system is that you don't really see anything about reward points immediately. There's no immediate satisfaction after you finish the race. It's like, okay, I got some points, cool. That'll be interesting in a month or so when we get our rewards. Or, maybe some people would like to see it on the ladder and things like that, but overall, it's less exciting than getting the currency straight away. So now let's go take a look at what the actual rewards are. Basically, there's a bunch of uniques that have custom art for these. I don't know if it's custom art in-game as well. It's possibly just custom art on the item icon. So they'll have sort of like sentimental value, like collector's value. They might be a little bit more valuable than the base uniques. But overall, these uniques are interesting. They're cool, but they're not particularly valuable, especially in softcore and even in hardcore. They're not particularly valuable. Even though like face breakers are really popular, they're not going to sell very well in hardcore because it's only really for making a face breaker build, basically. The one that is very valuable, however, is this coral ring, and I think new players might overlook the actual value of these coral ring. Basically, all of these items have an item level of 100. Now that's kind of arbitrarily high, but that means that these have the max item level at any point in the game ever. A max item level coral ring means that you can potentially roll the best stats in the game on that coral ring. It's basically the ultimate crafting ring. And people know that just by looking at it. They see, you know, the unique coral ring art, and they know that's an eye level 100 coral ring. So that's I think these are actually going to be very valuable. So that's kind of like a currency reward in itself. But then again, it's for doing well in races overall and doing well in the season. So how hard is 60 points to obtain if that's what you want to go for? I personally want to go for the face breakers just for fun, and because I know a lot of people are requesting a face breaker build. But the coral ring is the one that's really worth something. All of these are great for like leveling new characters and things like that. They're all actually really good leveling pieces of gear. You know, Wanderlust is nice for it cannot be frozen. Face breakers are interesting, and the golden mirror is kind of meh, not so good. But the coral ring's the main one. So let's take a look at how many of these points you can earn. Now I think a newer player, and I've actually got this based on the first race that's just happened actually, and people commenting on my videos how well they did, which is really cool. It's nice to have you guys report in and say how well you've done. Basically, a lot of newer players who you know, are willing to like look at a guide and, you know, follow some sort of system, have a build planned out and things like that, can easily reach 11 to 12. So they're getting 3 reward points. I think with a little bit of practice, so maybe halfway through the season, it's quite possible to get 15 to 17. So you're looking at 5 to 6 reward points per race. You might also do some of these sorts of things, or maybe if you pick a less popular class, or you happen to have a good race, or not as many other people are participating in the race, you could also get some of these rewards here. So 1 to 2 reward points is fairly likely, and then the top players will also get some additional points there. So you could be looking at between 5 to 10 points. I'm going to just say 5 basically. So with 5 points per race, you're looking at 12 races to get the coral ring basically, if you can consistently keep characters alive. Now there is a ton of races in here. So far it looks like the 3-hour party races and things like that have the exact same rewards as the other races. So you're looking at different levels obviously, because people are going to be getting to different points in the game, but the same amount of rewards essentially. So with 12 races, you could fairly reliably get coral rings. If you do better, you know, you could do a little bit better. But 12 races should be pretty attainable for people. They've changed around the time schedules a bit so that most people can participate at least 1 race a day. If not, they can hit up all the weekend races and things like that. So it's going to depend on how busy you are, really. It's still a little bit of a fair bit of a time commitment. You're at least looking at 12 hours to get this, because you've obviously got to do at least 12 1-hour races, but you might also participate in 3-hour races and things like that as well. So, but over the course of the month, I think most people who are interested in trying to get it could get the coral ring, so that's pretty cool. I don't know if I'll be able to get the phase breakers myself. It depends on how well I can do. Maybe if I can get a bunch of characters to level 17 or 20 or something like that, I can get it. But pretty much anyone who participates in, you know, 4, 5 races is guaranteed to get a red beak at least. So they're gonna get something, and you know, getting this unique item at the end of the season is going to be pretty cool. I think they're also going to be changing these uniques each season as well. So they've got these ones with custom art here. It wouldn't make much sense to have these ones again. To make it more exclusive to the month, I think would make them more valuable and more interesting to get. So I expect we'll see different rewards each month, but basically the coral ring, maybe they'll go through different types of base items as well and things like that. But overall, I think it's quite achievable. The really dedicated races are going to be the ones that get, you know, over 480, and it's going to take doing very well in a lot of different races and a lot of time commitment over the month. Basically, you probably won't be playing much default or hardcore league if you're trying to go for the higher prize rewards there. So I guess I should mention what I think is the best strategy to try and get these race points, these reward points. Basically, let's go back to the 1-hour race here. I think by far the best strategy for you know, the average player is going to be trying to achieve one of these level categories here. So level 19 is doable in 1 hour race. A lot of the higher level players, more experienced players, get like level 21 or level 22 on a really good day. But level 19 is quite achievable, and 7 reward points. Otherwise 15 to 16 is 5 reward points, and you know, it's not too much difference there if you can achieve that. So I think the best strategy is going to be participating in quite a few races, but doing very solidly. So picking a solid setup, playing carefully but quickly, and leveling, and just trying to stay alive above all else. So that might mean not pushing it to try and win one of these top player rewards. Which, you know, if you manage to push from top 20 to top 10, you're only getting 1 extra reward point. But if you die, you're losing it all basically. And if you're consistently find you're dying in races, you're going to lose a lot of time and potential reward points. So I think playing consistently and doing a bunch of races and, you know, getting to level 15, 16, 17, 18 is going to get you the most points and get you, you know, a guaranteed chance at getting like the coral ring. And it'll be interesting to see how much these end up being worth, but they're going to have intrinsic value at the very least. So I think those are the main things I wanted to cover. I've been releasing some build guides, and I also released a full practice session walkthrough. Well, I say full, but I edited it down to like 27 minutes. But basically, I take you guys on a walkthrough about how to participate in the race, aiming for level 20. I think I made it to like level 15, but that's because I made quite a few errors. But that's why it's important to practice these things. But nonetheless, for people new to racing, it should be a really good walkthrough. So I'll link to those in the description below, and you can check out the race builds if you're having trouble planning out your level 1 to 20 race builds and things like that. Anyway, I might see some of you guys in the races. I plan on participating at least in this 2 PM one today. See how I go. I'll try and reach at least level 15 and stay alive, and use that as a good practice point for future races. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.